high-speed business at a record pace.
Get 70 miles per gallon on this one. This is ship that made a castle.
Oh, everybody, welcome to the Fast Ones. My name is Max, and today we're talking about Formula One here with my co-host, Mike.
Hey!
Right on time.
What's up, everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is what happens when Kevin's not here.
We love it when Kevin's here. We miss him. he couldn't make it tonight.
Yeah.
And so we gotta have to push buttons ourselves.
Yeah.
And this won't be as researched.
No,
This
we won't
episode's
have the
gonna
fact
be
check.
fact-free.
This will
Although,
be.
if you comb through last episode, you might have found some mistakes, even with our fact checker
Yeah.
there live.
Yeah. Just consider this similar to the State of the Union that the United States produces right now.
Whoa, political?
Sorry, that was
Oh,
too deep.
gosh.
Sorry, guys.
Those clowns in Congress.
fact based.
Yeah.
Formula One.
You said to ask you, was there something you want to talk about at the top of the episode? If not, because I got something.
No, let's go for it.
Oh,
You.
me?
Yeah.
Okay, so last time I mentioned that one of our new and number one fans
Yes.
is Miranda.
Oh, yeah,
She
yeah.
went to the Australian Grand Prix.
Which is so rad.
And she got some gifts for us.
No way.
Boom!
Yes.
Australian Grand Prix koozies.
Oh,
this
yes.
one's mine.
Oh,
you
okay.
get modern minimal.
I get the very simple.
Yeah.
Thank you, Miranda.
And I get
You're a
this one.
hero.
This is the Haas car, probably. I don't know.
Probably.
It looks like a white and red car
Australian
with
Grand
a white
Prix.
fin. And anyway, yeah, koozies.
Amazing. Thank you, Miranda.
Which I did request Diet Coke cans for a specific that fits.
It may not. I'm
These
not.
are
I'm
actually
not going to
really
risk
good
it.
koozies.
Yeah.
I've been using mine to practice using it.
Yeah. To
And-
practice. It's good use of time.
They have such a good base, and it's a grippy base.
Oh, non-slip.
Most of the koozies, all the koozies I have, are like just like more foam on the bottom, and it's
Yeah,
not like
it's
a
just
base.
like the side material.
Just they just stitch the sides together.
Formula One.
Formula One, quality
Engineering.
gear. 75 years of engineering. It's finally trickled down to the koozie
It has
technology.
caught on. People, when they say that the technology goes nowhere in this sport, they've
Yeah.
never had a koozie.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude.
So, look at this hoodie.
This was also in the gift package. I
Okay.
don't know who it was addressed to.
Listen, Miranda.
I just assumed it was for me.
We're
I
gonna
just
have
assumed it was
words.
for me.
We're gonna have
Formula
words,
One,
Miranda.
Australian Grand Prix 2025.
Wow, it's all
Whoa.
like shiny
It's
and
like
stuff.
nice plastic
You
material.
might need to keep that buttoned up. I don't know if the camera can deal with the sheen.
Yeah, you don't think it can?
Yeah, it's like,
Dude, this is top tier.
yeah,
This is what Lewis Hamilton wears
yeah,
to bed.
yeah, yeah,
He wears just Formula One branded merch.
yeah. That's really stiff and difficult to sleep in.
No, it's such a nice hoodie.
That the hoodie's
So yeah,
amazing.
thanks to all of our fans who sponsor our podcast by providing us gifts.
Henry,
and Miranda is now on top.
and
Riley.
Yeah, we
so
appreciate
we
all
are
our fans.
on our way.
And Kyle Marlin's wedding invite is hiding back there somewhere.
Yeah, we still have a wedding gift we need to send to him.
yeah. It's
If you're
coming.
watching this, Kyle, I sent you a message on Instagram confirming what you wanted, and it's the one time you've never responded.
He's like, don't
So
worry
I'm still
about it.
still waiting for confirmation. But honestly, it's on us for not sending out a gift for months.
It's definitely on us.
But yeah, no. So we got a lot to talk about this week.
we do.
Last week we talked about Liam Lawson and the troubles at Red Bull.
Right.
Red Bull is now
And they did
geared up.
They did the thing.
They did the thing that
They
all
did the
Red
thing.
Bullians do. Is they cut their driver.
They did what we hoped that they wouldn't do. Mm-hmm. And yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
How do you feel about it? What's your initial thought?
I mean, have we talked about it? No, because we speculated hard that it would happen.
Right.
Right. We haven't talked about it. No, Yuki Tsunoda is now at Red Bull.
Yep.
And Liam Lawson is back. It's just like he took a field trip. And like he went and tried another car for a couple races, and then he's just back where he was before. Just at I don't know if it's V-Carb or Racing Bulls.
Yeah. Totally.
But no, I think it's crazy. I think it's so crazy.
I thought you were saying Yuki for a second, and I was so confused. I don't know if you can see it on my face. I was like, wait, Yuki's been at V-Carb for 12 years.
Yeah, no, Liam Lawson's now back.
Yeah.
And Yuki's now at Red Bull. No, the whole thing is crazy. I think Red Bull is such a awfully run organization.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been feeling this for a while, and then things like this happen. I'm like, no, it is a constant problem, and it's just going to continue to get worse. The problem isn't in the drivers; it's obviously in the car.
Yeah.
And they're tanking people's careers, and they're making it awful for anyone who wants to race there. I kind of wish Yuki didn't go to Red Bull. Like Racing Bull seems to be a more solid team.
Yeah, it's definitely more predictable as far as a race car is concerned right now. So
if I'm Yuki Tsunoda, I just watched 5 drivers get axed from Red Bull the past like 5 years because they can't like handle the car very well.
yeah,
Like, are racing drivers that delirious that they're like, well, I got it. And maybe Yuki's good enough. I'm not saying he's not, but I've never seen an interview. I mean, there's a classic interview where people are asking, what do you want to be? What's your biggest dream in the world? Everyone's like, I want to be Formula One World Driver champion. And Yuki is like, I want to own a restaurant.
yeah. I want to cook food for people.
I'm not saying he's gonna get a handle of that Red Bull, but I'm saying that he doesn't seem like the cocky type.
No, I mean, and I've heard already in his interviews and stuff that he's kind of like, yeah, I mean, it's faster. I'm going to do great. And it's kind of like, I mean, I hope so.
Yeah.
But Liam was pretty convinced he was going to do great. And then Liam really had a rough showing. So it's sort of, it's anyone's guess at this point.
Yeah.
I hope that he can produce. I really do.
And we kind of expect new drivers to come into the sport, and we give them a little bit of grace period.
Yeah.
To like, oh, get into the car. You're probably going to suck for a couple races, but pick it up and you'll be cruising by like mid-season to the end of the season. You'll be getting really good.
Yeah.
Liam didn't really get a chance. He got maybe one race. Australia was so wet and rainy.
Yeah. I mean,
and then China was, it's insane. So like he got one race.
Well, exactly to that point. Like I actually really think that is the thing that made me the most insane about this was that like Australia was wet. The racetrack was not one that Liam had raced on. Isn't that what I heard? Is that correct?
I don't think New Zealanders are allowed into Australia until they make it into Formula One.
Yeah, I mean, it's, we've been there. We know how they feel about the Kiwis.
We can't blame him.
He's like, hey, break.
That's Australian
I'm going to
policy.
come over here and I'm going to race on the
Can
track,
I race in your car, bro?
Honestly, Liam would have my full support if he had some of that going for him.
Way more Kiwi.
If he was way more Kiwi, I'd be such a fan. If he sounded like Taika, I'd be like, bro, come on.
Oh, I just made it into the Red Bulls. It's a really quick car.
At least the foundations are still intact. Oh, spoke too soon, hey?
Oh, we need some fresh wheels.
Be pretty nice, hey? Go around the trick. Super fast in the Red Bull, hey? It's going to be quick, bro. So, I mean, if he had more of that going for him, we'd absolutely have our vote, right? But I think, like, the thing that's crazy is that, like, Australia was a track that was new to him, from what I understand. It was rainy and wet. The surface is crazy with those stripes, like we were talking about, all the painted lines. But then you go to China, another track that he's never raced on, and he gets one practice session to dial in his setup. So his opportunities to practice car setup were in Australia and Bahrain, where it was freaking cold and rain during Bahrain sessions. And then he goes to Australia and it's cold and it's raining during those sessions. And he goes to China, and this is like his first opportunity, get to know the track, get the car dialed, and then it's a sprint race. So you got sprint qualifying, sprint race, qualifying, race.
Right.
And it's like parc ferme conditions are applied between sprint qualifying and sprint race,
Which means you can't touch the
adjust
car.
the car.
Okay.
And then once you're done with the sprint race, you can adjust the car for qualifying, and then it goes into parc ferme for the race. So it's like Liam's opportunities to really get immersed into the car are so minimal. So it just feels super cutthroat to be like, man, the guy didn't even really get a fair shot. He really didn't. It's crazy.
In a car that we know is very tuned to Max.
Notoriously,
You might look at other
touchy.
rookies. I mean, there could be an argument. Like, you look at other rookies and they're like, oh, well, the other rookies are performing really well. Kimmy's performing really well. Ollie's performing really well.
Right.
Liam should be performing at the same kind of like level of performance as other rookie peers. But also, we also know that Red Bull car is very hard to drive because they just keep tuning it to Max's insane abilities.
Right.
So maybe there should have been a little bit more grace period for Liam to get a hold of it.
It seems like,
Yeah.
But, I think a lot of people have come to the conclusion that, like, look, like, we all kind of thought Yuki deserved the seat to start. Mm-hmm. He's put in a lot of time at the team.
That's another thing.
And it does seem like it was only fair for him to get that shot. Mm-hmm. So this doesn't, if as brutal as it feels, it definitely also feels like Yuki's it's his time.
Yeah, it was kind of his to begin with.
Honda stepping in. And
Yeah,
I'm
what
wearing
happened with Honda?
I'm wearing my Honda F1 jacket on purpose tonight because Honda apparently pulled a meeting with Red Bull
Yeah.
and said, hey, they already gave them $10 million for Yuki to be on the team, and they were going to give him another $10 million if they gave him the seat.
So on the team, what do you mean on the team?
So, like,
to be on Racing Bulls?
Yeah, just as like this, and that's part of this sponsorship, the engine, and all that stuff. So, but like they were like, hey, and this is all rumor and hearsay. So,
Yeah.
but it has been reported in media outlets that Honda offered another additional $10 million to the team if they graduated Yuki from what is considered that junior team Visa Cash App to Red Bull. So, like, your young drivers not having the greatest of starts.
Yeah.
Your engine supplier comes to you and says, hey, how about a little extra of this?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah.
And I think that makes that decision a little easier.
And they know that the organization's already like trigger happy with
Right.
getting rid of their drivers.
Right.
So the deal is pretty solid.
Pretty solid.
It's insane though. So we like talked about how Liam might have not been given like a fair chance, but to like talk about Liam's preparation for the seat. Do we know how much time he put in the simulator leading up to the first race?
I mean, that's a great question for like literally anybody. I mean, I think the part of what's so kind of confusing is that, and a lot of people have been saying this, Kimi Antonelli got so much track time.
Yeah, how was Kimi's preparation for like his debut with Mercedes?
They gave him months and months of driving 4-year-old Mercedes F1 cars.
Okay.
So that way he was way more
Mercedes
prepared.
Formula One cars.
Yep, but they were all 4 years old.
Okay.
So what that means is now when you're running a 4-year-old model of an F1 car, your like technology relevance is pretty removed.
Okay, but
And so it's not considered a real test for the team.
okay, so they can do whatever they
So
want.
the team, there's no real limit to that type of testing.
They can run it as much as they want
As
around a track.
much, and there's no
That's-
budget cap to it because it's less relevant for the coming season.
But I mean, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's still Mercedes technology.
It is.
Probably the wheels, I'm imagining like a steering wheel. There's probably similar modes,
Oh, yeah.
similar buttons.
Well,
the
and
speed is probably similar.
right, and because it is a Mercedes powertrain, it's going to have a lot of those engine modes and the maps and buttons and things.
Yeah.
But also it's, you're taking a driver from Formula 2, which is a pretty fast car, but it is not F1.
Yeah.
And you're throwing him in the deep end. So you give him months and months of driving one of Lewis Hamilton's championship cars,
Yeah.
which was the most unbeatable car of its day, around a track. It's like, yeah, he acclimated to how the car was going to feel,
Yeah.
how it was going to drive, what the engine modes look like, what the power delivery is like. Because 4 years in engine development, well, they froze the engine regulations years back. So even in the past 4 years, you can't say that it's advanced all that much because it wasn't supposed to. So, I mean, Mercedes did everything in their power to kind of acclimate Kimi.
Yeah, smart.
And it looks like Red Bull didn't do jack
Yeah.
for Liam. And it's
Yeah.
confusing. It's just like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
You set him up to fail.
Yeah, I was gonna say, why not set up your driver with the best possibility to win? Why not come out the gates as strong as you can with this new driver? And I've never heard of rookies getting tons of lap times in older cars. Is that something other teams have done, or is
Not-
that like a new thing? That seems pretty smart.
Seems super smart. And I like it,
Because
for the first time, I'm kind of lost for words because I actually don't think many teams have done this.
Well, yeah, it's probably new because like what Lewis going to Ferrari, didn't he say he put in lots of sim time?
Yeah.
Because like he wanted to perform well right off the gates,
And it's pretty
he's not like a
unregulated.
sim racer guy. He doesn't really like racing in the sim.
No, I think a lot of people, especially, have like a little bit of that.
Yeah.
You know, motion sickness or something. I don't know because it does do like the whole.
Oh, it's a 4D experience.
Yeah. It's Cinebox.
That's what I said.
Or what?
The seat rumbles and there's like sound effects.
When it's really crazy when you're at Monza and there's horse footprints. What are
Yeah,
those
you
called?
can feel them.
Yeah, the stampede.
It's pretty cool.
It's really fun to watch Lion King in.
Just when Lewis is like done doing a couple laps, he just like turns on Lord of the Rings and just like, oh yeah, feeling
It's just-
this.
yeah, just-
this is great.
The Urukai coming down the hill and he just pulls out Sting. And you're like, why did you choose Sting?
Lewis has been putting so much time in the sim. And it's just like all Lord of the Rings extended editions. Like he put in like 13 hours yesterday.
He comes out speaking Elvish and they're like, that's not Italian. That's not Italian,
just
Lewis.
sucks the first race. Oh, I wasn't racing. I was watching Lord of the
I
Rings.
was just hanging out. Their simulator's a dope movie
You know that
theater.
they mold that seat to your body. You know it's cozy as, dude.
And I peed.
You know there's a catheter set up. You don't have to leave. It is the first time I have watched Lord of the Rings extended edition from Fellowship to Return of the Kings without leaving once.
I also did.
Feed tube in, feed tube out, and I stayed there for hours.
I also did Twilight all the way through Breaking Dawn Part 2, which was epic.
Have you guys seen that movie?
I am unchanged. I'm still Team Jacob. Unchanged.
That's why he's gonna win. That's why he's gonna win the championship. He's done a lot of homework.
Tons of research in the off season this year.
Oh my gosh,
So
What
good.
were we talking about?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, so Lewis is in the sim. So, and I don't know how much Liam put in. Who knows? But
McKay says F1 cars have catheters.
they do.
They don't. No, they just wet themselves in the
I
car.
thought, oh, they don't hook up to something.
They don't.
They
Well,
just
they
pu-
have
they just-
drink bottles.
Oh, but they don't hook up the tube out.
No,
There's
not
no
a tube out.
So,
Do you know how invasive a catheter is, Max?
I guess there is not a lot of time between like them putting on their race suits after like the driver parade.
Yeah, could you imagine just having to be like,
a hospital? There's like a hospital. Just a hospital bed, a hospital truck, and they like run in there and then run out. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I guess, yeah. So when they pee, they're just peeing themselves and it puddles in their seat.
yeah.
The water.
Lewis
Must be the
Lewis
water.
claims he's only done it once, and he said he did it in Singapore. That
saw
was
the
a
hot
recent
wing- the
interview.
hot wings.
Oh, it was hot wings. Is that he
Yeah,
said?
the hot
it.
ones, yeah. I mean, do we believe him?
I don't think so.
Because
but-
who was it? Sebastian Vettel? There was some driver who said like, if a driver has ever told you they've never like peed or pooped their pants during a race, they're lying.
They're lying. Yeah, it was probably
Yeah.
Seb.
Yeah.
Yeah, Seb's the one who would definitely be overly honest about that.
I can believe Lewis's story.
Yeah.
He gives it up once. He's like maybe, but who do we know on the grid has pooped their pants for sure?
Stroll. Come on. I mean, like,
Every race, and his dad has to wipe him down.
Dad.
It happened again.
Dad. The car is a little stinky.
He's like, go to the bathroom before you put your race suit on, please, Lance.
Dad.
It's getting harder to keep you in this seat.
I know. I'm trying.
Just do it in Lawrence's voice. Now, son.
Lance is just driving down the track. It's like, we've talked about this. And Lance is just like, I've got to go number 2.
It's too late. The race has
I gotta
started.
go
The
number
race has
2.
started, Lance. You're only on lap 3.
it's on the
There's
warm-up lap.
50 more laps.
I'm the warm-up lap, Dad.
Just go before. Yeah, Lance for sure. I want to say Alonso for sure.
Yeah.
He's raced long enough.
Yeah.
And I also feel like he wouldn't give a
No.
crap.
And he wouldn't talk about it either.
He wouldn't talk about it either.
He'd just be like,
Yeah.
it's our plan.
Yeah.
It's part of a plan.
Yeah. Like the human physical body is just a barrier getting in the way of winning a race. And
Yeah.
so whatever functions it happens to perform,
Yeah.
it's just a function it's performing.
And a lot of the drivers like that, Lewis says it even before, or on Hot Wings, he's like, most of the time before the race starts, that's kind of what we're doing. Like, that's what the drivers
Just
run
in the
to go
bathroom
do, is they're like
duking.
literally running to the toilet and coming back to the car. Because it's like, you don't want to hold that.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when you think about it, like 6G
Yeah.
And if your like bladder is full,
He says that in the Hot Ones interview.
it's like
A bladder full at 6G.
on a 7-point harness seatbelt.
Do you
Dude, it's
remember-
like so uncomfortable.
Do you remember that show, MXC? It was the Japanese weird game shows.
Yeah, it was like Wipeout, but with a voiceover, so it was so much better.
Yeah. There was one competition in that show, like one game that they would play. They'd have them drink tons and tons of water. Then they'd sit on like a bar stool, and there was like a punching glove, and it would just punch them in the bladder. Did you ever see that one?
No, it's amazing though.
Weird where we're going right now.
That's where I love
But like,
that show.
I would imagine 6Gs would be even crazier than that.
I mean, it pretty much is, right?
Yeah,
It's-
sloshing around.
Yeah, it's 6 times the force of that glove.
Yeah. So I'd understand. I wouldn't be drinking during the race unless I really had to. I'd also take like Imodium before the race.
Yeah.
Like leading up to the race, I'd be taking Imodium so I don't have to go to the bathroom.
You're like, I'm going to eat everything but fiber.
Yeah, just cheese.
I'm just going to clog up.
McKay asked us on a previous episode, what do drivers eat?
Well, yeah.
Just cheese and beef.
What do bears eat before they hibernate? That's what they eat. Some grass.
Yeah, you don't want to take a risk.
Another question she had was how accurate are the simulators? And the truth is that
that's a good
unless
question.
you're an F1 driver, we don't really know because they're so locked down. Each team has a company that's basically dedicated to them to develop and make those things.
Like having their own video game
It's
company.
a bespoke video game.
Millions of dollars just
Millions
for this.
of dollars invested just for Lewis to learn how to drive a Ferrari and for Charles to get better at driving it.
Yeah.
But Lewis's take on the Ferrari simulator was that it's better than he didn't say it was better. He said he was amazed and impressed at how accurate it was and how much it helped him get ready for the season.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
If I was a Formula One driver and I was just hired my first season, and if I was getting paid millions of dollars, I would be in there all day, every day. Is there a limit to the amount of sim time you can put in? That's all I would be doing.
I know.
I'd be living in that room. I'd wake up, I'd do my workouts with my trainer, and then I would be living in that sim, getting perfect. Every day, all day until the first race.
I think that was what they said was the 2021 season with Max versus Lewis. The person that they gave a ton of credit to the car's development and how it got to where it is was Alex Albon, because Alex was the reserve driver at Red Bull at the time. Mm-hmm. And they said that Alex was just like back in Milton Keynes, never leaving the simulator, constantly working on setup. And this is part of the reason why that High Performance podcast where they interviewed Albon.
Okay, yeah.
And he said that like Max loves a really sensitive car, like the mouse's sensitivity is turned way up. The reason that Alex knows all of that is because he was kind of a fundamental piece of why Max was able to deliver in 21 against Lewis, because he was the one who was helping with all the setups.
Crazy.
And when he won in Abu Dhabi, the first person over the radio was Alex. He's with the, oh my God, Max! You hear that during when he won.
Yeah.
That was Alex, because he was just so tightly knit to how Max did that year.
Crazy. I guess I didn't know that. That's cool.
Pretty crazy backstory.
Uh-huh.
And that's part of the reason why they really wanted to help facilitate Alex getting a seat.
Yeah. Wild. Yeah, Sims would be very, very advanced, very, very realistic, and that's all I would be doing.
Yeah. It just seems like, especially if you're Liam, it seems like you would not sleep.
Yeah.
You
I'd
would
be
know that
terrified.
car inside and out before you got to the track.
So I don't know how much time he put in.
Yeah.
I would hope he would have put in everything, especially being at Red Bull. You're like, you know that they just want to fire you, and you haven't even started.
Yeah, it seems like
It's just like a fetish for them now.
yeah.
They're like,
Ooh.
we got Liam in 2 races. Yuki, can we do one?
Can we do one?
Can we do one?
Yeah, I love that. James
And then
Bond.
Isaac Hadjar.
You only get 2 races.
Can we hire him and fire him in the same day?
Yeah.
What's the record? That's all Helmet is doing right now.
Red Bull loves breaking all records.
Yeah,
This is the
so
worst one to
dumb.
have to go after. But,
Yeah.
or no, you only raced twice. That's what it was. The like James Bond.
He only did it, the James Bond. Time.
Yeah, that was so
Yeah,
good.
that's awesome.
So
Okay. Well, what do you think about like Yuki? That was my take. That
Yeah.
whole long take.
it's it's a good take.
Yeah.
It's pretty all right, I guess.
Yeah.
No, like I think that it's nuts. Red Bull is notorious for this. And I feel like most of what I feel has already been expressed through most of social media. It was too soon.
Yeah.
But I reflect back on just thinking that everybody who was harsh on Sergio Perez, Daniel Ricciardo, anyone who's ever been the number 2 seat at Red Bull, I've been saying it forever. If you've listened to the podcast, at least, you know that I genuinely believe that it is not just cursed. The team doesn't help you.
Yeah.
If you are driver number 2 at Red Bull, they don't do anything for you.
Yeah, the evidence is strong.
And there's so much evidence to support it.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, oh, but Weber. And it's like, well, Weber was number 1 and Vettel was number 2 and he won the race.
Yeah.
Or he won the championship. And boy, did it pivot to Vettel from there.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you get labeled driver 2, Godspeed, brother.
It's an uphill battle.
Yeah.
But
rough.
if you win that uphill battle, then you are number 1 and they will help build the car for you. That's it.
Exactly. So if someone was able to outshine Max in that car, it's possible.
Yeah.
But good luck.
Good luck. I mean, what's going to happen when it could be a possibility that Yuki gets in that seat and he gets 18th.
Right.
And Liam Lawson gets
I'm hoping
8th.
not. Yeah.
Like, what if Lawson ends up in the points and Yuki barely gets across the finish line? Are they going to switch it back? Like, how ADD are they with this seat?
I've even seen jokes going around that, like, could Max switch to Racing Bulls if the car is that bad?
Yeah. They're going to throw Isaac Hadjar and Yuki in the Red Bulls.
And the Red Bull, and then the Racing Bulls is the A team?
Yeah.
Because the car's better? It's like, are you serious?
Yeah. I think the solution to all of this is just get rid of the sister team.
The sister team has
They
to
need
go.
to get rid of that team, sell it to another person. And
It's-
end this madness. That's they're playing with so much because they can.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the thing. Would other teams act the same way if they had 2 other seats to play with?
Well, I mean, before the budget cap era of Formula One, it's like, man, the other teams that were the small budget teams, they couldn't really hang with the big boys. There was no real way to be able to afford what the big teams could afford. So they had to be able to play nice with the big teams to be the farm place for a junior driver to be able to come up through the ranks, get their feet wet, kind of have some experience, and to grow. And it's like, but nowadays it's like these teams are all on pretty equal playing terms.
Yeah.
And I just think that the sister team thing has to go. Let Faenza go. Let it become its own team and still manage a way to be able to help Red Bull Juniors come up through the ranks.
Yeah.
But
so we have F2, 4.
Yeah, but you don't have to own the secondary team.
Yeah.
Because at this point, it's just a really weird monopoly. And luckily, I would say that it hasn't really played too much of a role in the championship to be able to like stop people from getting points or whatever.
I don't know. Last year, Daniel took that point away from Lando. It was one of the best moments for Daniel last year.
Yeah.
And then they got rid of the extra point for fastest lap.
Yeah,
They're like, we can't have that.
Yeah, no.
How dare he?
The convict took the point from my boy.
The convict.
Born in the land of our mother queen. Yes,
For
and now
real.
it's a king.
It was the upset and the most dirty trick anyone could have ever played is to get a point taken away.
How dare he?
Yeah, they got rid of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, so it changed. I mean, that was V-Carb just basically helping Red Bull.
Yeah.
But any other team probably could have done that.
Yeah.
So it's
And at the end of the day, Red Bull lost the championship anyways.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter, Lando. Shut up.
Yeah, you're such a baby.
And now you don't have that extra point.
Got
And that's the thing. Oh man, I should have kept that in my predictions for this year. That Lando will lose the championship by a point that he could have gotten with the fastest lap.
Oh man, that would be sweet justice.
It would be amazing.
It'd be sweet justice.
And it might happen. And he's going to lose it to Oscar. And that
then
would be hilarious.
Crofty would be like, if only the fastest lap had still been here, Lando would be champion.
and they're going to go back and be like, oh yeah, there was 3 races where Lando got fastest lap that would have put him in the lead.
2026, fastest lap is back,
But only for McLaren.
but only for McLaren. Or any British driver. The only acceptable
If
avenue.
you have been building your car in Britain in the last 10 years, you have a clause that says you can get fastest lap.
These are the points.
If you're British owned, British run, and British driven, you will get the fastest lap.
Gifted. On a platter.
Stupid face.
Gifted.
Why did I hate that so much?
Just for you.
It was very Gene Wilder. It was very good.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, Gene.
Yeah.
Bless
I know
his
he's one
heart.
of your favorites.
He is.
Yeah.
But yes, I do think that it is. It's like, yeah. I want fastest lap back. It's funny. NASCAR has it now.
Did they not have it?
No. So now
so they switched it.
they switch places.
It is a rule that you can only you can't have it at the same time.
No, yeah.
It's like a baton. One
Yeah.
person can only hold it.
The
once.
rednecks that aren't allowed to talk about Formula One are the ones that now get the fastest lap points.
I guess I'm wondering, like, they all are. There's a faster lap. Aren't they all moving at the same speed? They're all in a pack. They're all in such a tight pack, Mike. Aren't they moving at the same speed?
Well, like at Daytona, yeah.
Okay.
So at Daytona, it's a little trickier to get fastest lap because for the most part, you'd probably have to be a car behind the lead car in order to actually achieve it.
Oh, because you have to drag a little bit.
You have to be the drafter in order to really
draft.
get. Yeah.
Okay.
And so there's ways
There
to play
is a way
that.
to do it.
Yeah, but like on the bigger or on like short tracks and on road courses, it still is the thing.
Does it give you a point?
Yeah, it
Just
still
one
gets you a
point?
point. It gets a championship point.
How many? Is it similar point structure to Formula One, where it's
No, there's way more points in NASCAR.
they're just dumping points. on
every
drivers.
single driver that is racing gets points.
Oh,
And you get points for like numbers of laps you complete and things like that. So
number of laps you complete, number of beers you had before.
yeah, how many hot dogs you can down before you get in the car. Things like that. How many cake stands, you know. Do you have a Trans Am?
Yeah. How many pounds overweight are you?
Have you ever run moonshine?
How many cigarettes you smoked during the race?
Were they Marlboro?
Yeah.
Were they American
Extra
Spirits?
points. It's an amazing sport.
Yeah, it's the Winston. You know?
The Winston Cup.
Yeah.
If you smoke cigarettes
If
during
you
the
smoke
Winston
a pack
Cup.
of Winstons before you get on the track.
Every race has a different bonus.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Winston is cigarettes.
Yeah.
Daytona is beer.
Yeah.
Martinsville is hot dogs.
Yeah, it's actually Martinsville's known for its hot dogs, so it's really funny that you have that.
Yeah, nailed it. Cool.
That's amazing.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Okay, but do you want to talk about Japan?
I do want to talk about Japan.
So, I mean, here's the good thing.
The sovereign nation of Japan.
Yuki's getting his opportunity to race a Red Bull and with Honda Red Bull in Japan.
In his hometown.
And this is a cool chance. This is a really cool opportunity.
Yeah.
We don't know if it's going to go his way.
Now you can see the glitter of my shirt a bit more.
Oh.
Oh, wait, where's the light? Ooh.
Is
this coming up on the camera at all?
It's not, but here I am. I've taken, unfortunately.
Dang it, what was that trumpet line we just were humming to ourselves?
Something like
I don't
that.
think that's it. All that's stuck in my head now.
Yeah, that's what it was.
But no, it's the slower one.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
watch the Mets.
Watch the Mets, whatever his name is, Diaz.
Nah, Mike is always happy to get people to watch the Mets.
Doyers.
Yeah.
Los Angeles Doyers.
Okay, so
Anyways, back to
Yuki at Japan.
Yuki in Japan. Rumor is that
Is that he's Japanese?
yeah, that's what I've
the
heard.
rumor going around the
That's what
back
I've
right
heard.
now.
You can't really tell based on last name,
No.
first name.
A country of origin, based on his hat.
No,
His hat.
his hat.
You know how drivers wear a hat when they race, and the hat kind of comes down and around their face.
It's a very specific hat.
It looks rigid. It looks like a really rigid hat.
It's engineered, I think. Do you think it's a part of the car? Do you think they think about it?
Can we have a Formula One where we just rate drivers' hats?
Can we just rate the hats? I think a good hat show. Could they do that at the gala? Lewis.
Okay. So Yuki, home race.
Home race. And also that, they're going for a white color. So it's going to be a white Red Bull car again.
Cool.
It's gonna-
I love their white livery.
But the thing that's going to be tricky is that the Visa Cash App RB car is
kind of
also
already
white.
Are they going to go dark?
So what I've heard is that it's going to be white and pink,
Oh, okay. Which
which is kind of what Haas
kind of Haas is doing.
went for.
I know. I reposted the Haas thing today because the Haas
it's
livery is
awesome.
rad.
It's so
The-
rad.
what is it? Cherry blossoms in Japan?
I love Ayao just being like my home race
Yeah.
ownership.
Uh-huh.
I'm so excited to bring
Yeah.
a car that is officially let's hype up team principal. This is my home race.
Because now
I love
that
it.
BWT, I mean, are they still in the sport? BWT making the Alpines pink every once in a while.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that Haas is doing it though. It looks
Did you
great.
see Alpine? Alpine commented on
No, I didn't.
Haas and they were like, "Excuse me."
And you're like, well, come on. You can't hold this forever.
It's sorry.
And someone can do it right.
yeah.
Someone can make it look good.
And it not be about filtered water.
Yeah, for real.
This isn't a sponsor.
We're doing it for
for Japan,
Yeah, exactly.
which is awesome. Parker Edwards says, "Show us the hat they wear."
Crazy. Like the hats come with like a little like sunglass attachment that they can like slide down over the hat.
Is there? And then you could do like the flip up like Chris Farley in that one SNL.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So over the weekend, Mike and I went karting with Kevin, the producer, and friend of the show, Trevor, who did the music.
Yes.
So it was like a Fast Ones production.
At the grid.
Team building experience at the grid. The grid.
Yes.
So, where's the camera? Right on me.
Yeah.
The grid is, they're kind to let us go and race.
Yes.
And if you're in the Utah area, go check out the grid. But I was laughing thinking like, it would be funny to wear a very official Formula One hat. Helmet,
Yeah.
with like the tearaway visors,
And
be throwing those at like an indoor karting event, just like ripping them off, throwing them behind you, like constantly. They're like, "There you go, Sarah. It's only 10 laps.
Get out of my way, Jeremy."
Oh, it just looks so much in those.
I actually got some rubber in my eye.
Really?
And I'm like, my visor was cracked like this much for like airflow.
Dang.
And I was like, how did that happen?
Marbling just hit you in the face.
Literally, though, I was
Yeah.
like, wow, that was a rogue
Dang.
marble that somehow like snuck its way in.
But we'll show you some hats on the Instagram. We'll post some Formula One hats. That the
Yeah,
drivers
and we'll
wear.
tag you, Parker.
Yeah, for
We'll
sure.
make sure that you are aware when that post hits the streams.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So pink car for Red Bull.
Pink car for Red Bull,
We're slowly
white
getting
and
into
pink.
Japan and Suzuka, which is this
Yeah.
week.
And they have done some things like what they did in Australia to the Japanese track. So Suzuka has a couple of new gravel traps that are closer to the apex or to the curbs.
Oh, so they're we talked about in Australia. They're trying to slow some drivers down on some of the chicanes.
No, it's not even the slowdown effect. It's more or less that track limits has been an issue at a lot of tracks where the drivers will go all 4 tires over the white line.
Okay.
And so
So they just want to like make it a bit more of a punishment if they go outside the racing line.
Yep. And so they've added those gravel traps on those kind of exterior curbs to just keep the cars on track.
This is new this year.
So yeah, Suzuka's added 2 new ones that are now closer to the track. Again, you're going to see it because I've been watching this race for so many years.
Mm-hmm.
All the drivers run off on these corners.
Okay.
And so this is going to take some retraining
Fun.
for them to not do that.
So all the old drivers might have a little problem with it.
Yeah, they're going to for sure run wide and they're going to for sure dip a tire and gravel.
Okay,
So
interesting.
this will be very interesting to see them get
Try
their
and cope
bearings
it.
with
Yeah,
the new
for sure.
changes.
I love that.
But yeah, I love Suzuka. It is a super technical track
Yeah.
and Sebastian Vettel's favorite.
Okay.
A lot of the drivers, their favorite.
It's the only track that crosses back over itself,
Yeah, it does have a bridge.
which is crazy.
Yeah. And it's just, and like 130R, that's the corner where Fernando Alonso passed Michael Schumacher on the outside. And then after the race, the reporters were like, "You're insane. Like, how did you know that you could get around Michael?" And he said, "Because he has 2 kids and I know he would lift."
Oh,
Like the coldest response.
I was gonna say that
to
is
a question
so
ever.
badass, like so insane.
The gnarliest, like
Gosh.
thug life glasses hit his
Yeah.
face immediately
Holy
with that
cow.
response.
Yeah, that is solid. Fernando is pretty much a killer.
He is a killer
That
for
is
sure.
so funny.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, cool. Suzuka.
So
Yeah.
Suzuka is a really
I wanna go watch
freaking
that.
fast racetrack. Really
Uh-huh.
cool. Lots of high G. Rad. One of my favorite races on the calendar for sure.
Yeah, I love that. And Ayu Komatsu, going back to Haas,
Yeah.
I love that, Ayu Komatsu has probably been here before.
Yes.
He's Japanese. I don't know
Yes.
if you knew that.
yeah, he is.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying.
No, I'm stoked. I think Haas had a really great showing in China
Yeah.
and a really bad showing in Australia. And hoping that Japan will be like showing them that. What are you reading the chat?
So, yeah, Parker said, do they allow banana peels at the grid?
They don't say no.
No official rule.
Yeah.
No official rule that
I
I've
think they
seen.
do until they say no.
Only around certain corners is it permitted.
Yeah. So yeah, Ayu Komatsu. I'm excited to see what Haas can do at the Japanese Grand Prix, because if they have another strong showing, I'm excited to hopefully mean that like, oh, this is going to be a good year for Haas. They're actually doing a lot better than we thought. Rather than China being a fluke and Australia being the actual performance, I want it to just be continual points performances for Haas.
Yeah.
And I hope that Ayo Komatsu has like really good insight on Suzuka.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is going to be a great opportunity for them to show their stuff. And like I said, I mean, I have a soft spot for Japanese stuff in general. I've got my
Well, what's this? What's this up here? The Haas car and this what car?
That's a Kenmare Skyline, which is the one of the early Nissan Skyline models.
It's a very cool looking car.
The Kenmare is one of my favorites. And but anyways, I used to shoot little mini vignette documentary pieces on a company here in Utah that imports Japanese classics called JDM Legends.
Oh, cool.
And it's kind of the start of, that's kind of the start of where Shift Pattern came from, which was my photography brand and everything. So soft spot in my heart for Japanese car culture. And of course, motorsport is a huge part of that. So, but anyways, I think Suzuka is just going to be so good. And I think that once again, it's like that long straightaway in China, the rainy race in Australia. Like we're really going to see a lot of car potential in Suzuka and get to know a little bit more of what the 2025 season is going to look like. The sprint weekend on the second race of the year, the first race was raining and crappy surface. I'm really.
There's been too many variables to actually show us a proper Grand Prix weekend.
Yeah, so it's like, and again, it's like Haas had a great weekend in China.
Let's see if it's actually what they're going to be
See
doing.
if they're capable of it again in Japan.
Yeah, it should be super rad.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm excited for it. I didn't realize it was this week.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought it was another week away.
No.
But I'm stoked about it. Okay, cool. Very cool.
They, I was gonna say that. Are you ready for your hot take?
Yeah.
Rapid round.
Oh yeah, sure.
Should we move into that next?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Or what do you got on your mind?
Oh no, that I mean,
Any other thoughts?
No, not on Suzuka. I mean, like I said, I'm glad we talked about Haas. I don't know if we're gonna make other predictions for the Japanese Grand Prix.
The Japanese Grand Prix.
I hope Ferrari is still figuring out their car.
Yeah.
Because like I said, we is still waiting on like a proper Grand Prix weekend. Maybe Ferrari's still like fine tuning some things. I really want Kimi to start stepping up a little bit more.
Yeah.
As
I'm
he
a
gets
little
more familiar
tired
with
of
the
like
car.
the George Russell's finished in the top. I
know.
It's like, come on, Kimmy, just wipe him out.
Just
wipe 'em out.
Everyone's waiting for you, Kimi, to figure this out and show us who the true hero is.
Right.
Because we all know if Max Verstappen's leaving Red Bull at the end of the year, which he most likely is, George is leaving Mercedes, and Max is getting that seat.
It's actually a part of my hot takes.
Okay, well, I'll let you save that. I'll let you save that.
Yeah.
So for the Japanese Grand Prix, I'm hoping Ferrari can pull out some really good performance.
Yeah.
I would love to see a Ferrari win the race.
Yeah, I would love that
And
too.
if not a Ferrari, I would love Oscar to win the race. Yeah.
I think those are good picks.
Uh-huh.
What do you think's the podium?
The podium, in my heart of hearts.
Yes.
Why did I just have a really dark feeling come over me that George Russell would actually get this win?
Oh no! Oh no! Don't put that in the
like
universe.
1,000 voices just reached out and cried in agony. Like, what does Obi-Wan say? And then they were silenced.
There was two moments in history where this happened. Andor exploding. Andor.
And George Russell
And George
winning
Russell
the 2025 Japanese Grand Prix. 1,000 voices cried out.
Oh, that is incredible. Obi-Wan.
If not, I would love. I'm gonna say Oscar. I
Okay.
think Oscar would actually be able to get another win out, which would be super fun.
Yeah.
And I'll say Lewis will be on the podium somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think?
I think that I'm going to go with Oscar Lando Lewis is my podium.
Oh,
So first, second, third.
okay.
That's my prediction
Okay.
and my hope. Mm-hmm. But if I really wanted the ultimate podium, it would be probably Lewis, Oscar, Yuki. And I feel like that would just be so epic.
Yeah.
Or the ultimate podium would be Behrman, Ocon, Yuki.
Oh, okay. Yeah. A double Haas.
Let's go.
A double Haas finish would be amazing. It'd be so great if Kimi pulled it out of nowhere and got on the podium.
Yeah.
As a rookie for Mercedes. That'd be rad.
So good.
I mean, we could have a fluke. We could have a really good fluke, and Haas could be like on top tier performance and in the right place, the right time, and we get a Haas podium.
I mean, we can only hope.
Yeah.
We can only
That'd
hope.
be great.
Yeah.
I think Ayo Komatsu knows where the secrets are on the racetrack. Yeah, he knows where the hidden.
He knows where you can hop to the bridge.
Yeah, you can
on Rainbow Road and get a little bit further. It's really good.
He's
It's
like,
a super
he's like,
super
oh
good
God,
shortcut.
there's a little ramp, and if you hit the ramp, you'll be able to go into a little cave. It'll shoot you out.
And there's a green shell waiting for you there. You push that green shell. Okan's like, Ayo, that's Mario Kart.
I mean, Mario Kart rules might exist in Japan,
And he's like,
Nintendo rules probably exist.
don't underestimate me, Okan.
Yeah. There's a good chance if you get that star, you'll have enough speed. Ayo Komatsu just slowly is losing his mind.
They're like, K1. But you go to the Haas radio and it's like, use the star power. Use the star
If
power.
teams don't have their mode strategies as Mario Kart themes in the Japanese Grand Prix, what a lost opportunity.
Blue shell. Blue shell.
Blue shell him. Take him down.
Oh man, that would be so good.
Yeah, I mean, they would get lots of. That's a good hot take. Dude, my hot take. Flavio Briatore being back in the sport is one of the best things to happen for modern Formula One.
Okay.
Because I think the sport needs more drama.
Yeah.
Why not bring in a crazy old guy who has a lifetime ban in the sport?
Yeah.
He's beat the lifetime ban.
Yeah.
He's back.
Yes.
Was caught cheating. Wouldn't it be so great if he got caught cheating again?
Oh,
and to
man.
be watching during that season to see one guy get a second lifetime ban in Formula One.
Plot twist. Flavio's the one that's going to send out the blue shell.
Yeah.
He's the one that has the Mario Kart
Yeah, for
path.
sure.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. No, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm here for that one.
Okay, cool.
All right. This is my turn to put. Parker says, Flavio's back.
Flavio is back, dude.
Flavio is back, Parker.
Lifetime bans only happen for 20 years,
Yes.
or if you have $1 billion.
Or if you're a
Or if-
handsome guy
or
named
if money.
Flavio and you can't be understood.
Is Flavio handsome?
I mean,
I don't think he's handsome.
he's got good taste.
He's got good taste. So
Yeah.
When he showed up in Drive to Survive, I didn't know too much about Flavio Briatore.
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 Yep.
We had talked about him on a previous episode. Go back, dummies, and listen to it.
Yeah. Why are you guys so behind?
But we talk about him being banned from the sport. I'd never really seen a picture of him. So he shows up in Drive to Survive.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this guy? And then they show him like, oh, he was like the Playboy of Formula One. I'm like, this guy?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
this, like, is he Italian?
Yes.
He's Italian.
Yeah.
Barely is audible in the way he speaks.
Like I said-
has like he's like a Italian Jeremy Clarkson.
Yeah. Totally.
And he's just like hobnobbing around with like models, fancy cars, parties, and yachts. And I'm like, this guy's the Playboy Formula One.
This guy pulls that audience.
Yeah.
Wild.
I mean, something to be said for charisma and money. I mean, he's using it well, so
Totally.
can't diss the guy.
No.
And like I said, I'm glad he's back. If we're gonna lose one great personality in Daniel Ricciardo, I'm glad we get another crazy one.
No, he's good for the Piranha Club.
Yes.
Yeah, like he's
Yeah.
the ultimate piranha.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, oh, Zach Brown, you think you're a piranha?
Yeah.
Let me introduce you to a shark.
Yeah.
He doesn't just take little bites. He swallows whole.
Yeah.
This guy's nuts. Okay.
Yeah.
All
Sounds
right.
good.
My first hot take. Lance Stroll isn't that bad.
Oh, I mean, this year outperforming Alonso.
And here's the thing. This is the reason why
Stats don't lie.
Look, Rocket Power Mohawk is at me right now. He's gonna be like, "What are you, the window licker? Are you serious?"
Yeah.
Okay, but listen.
Yeah.
Nicholas Latifi.
Yeah.
There have been worse billionaire boys. There have been worse drivers. We had
Yeah. We've had way worse billionaire boys.
people who were just literally crashing constantly into others, into walls, whatever. Lance has done his fair share of shocking moments.
Yeah,
But
100% agree.
him being the lowest rung of F1 right now
Yeah.
is actually a way higher rung than I feel like we've seen for so many years. And so I'm like, if he's the lowest bar,
Yeah.
I can be happy with that.
Yeah.
So that's my take.
Because he is outperforming half the grid.
Yeah,
He does end up in the points often.
fairly often.
You know what? I can't be mad at that.
Yeah.
We can be mad at his like personality
Yeah.
and his IQ.
Yeah, he can poop in the car. Daddy, can you change my
He can poop in the car. And he did like spin out at the formation lap in Brazil.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's plenty of stuff to laugh
And
about.
drive directly into the dirt. I
But-
mean,
but,
look,
like,
like
the
I
stats,
said,
but those numbers don't lie. He's
numbers don't
better
lie.
than Fernando Alonso right now.
I won't go that far. I won't go that far. But he's not.
We're gonna see. We're gonna see Fernando hopefully step it up. But yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I just don't think it's nice to have an enemy that's decent.
Yes. What do you mean?
If
What are
we're
you
gonna
talking
say
about?
like there's an enemy on the grid of like the people who don't belong,
yeah,
Lance is a really high bar. Whereas I look at like Pastor Maldonado and I look at Nicholas Latifi and I look at some of these drivers that I was like, you belong driving golf carts that are parked in the wrong place back to where they go. That's
Yeah.
your driving skill quality.
Yeah.
Nikita Mazepin's.
oh, the Nikita Mazepin.
It's like Lance is hardly offensive compared to those.
That's true. 100%.
That's what I mean.
yeah, I can't argue.
All right, what's your next hot take?
Teammate fun building content put out for social media needs to be toned down, if not axed completely.
Yeah, I'm over it.
I am over it. I am over teammates being friends.
Yeah.
I'm over them pretending to like.
This is a really, really good hot take.
It's just like, can you list all the Australian slang words? It's like, do you want to watch Lando Norris eat sushi? I still do. I think he's still a child. But like, I'm sick of these things. I think I'm not.
an Easter basket for your teammate.
Yeah.
Do we need to do this?
Yeah, I am done with it.
We're race car drivers.
I want drivers to be mad at each other.
Yeah.
I'm sick of like, where's the sportsmanship? I'm sick of like drivers being friends in the cool down room.
Yeah, totally.
They like sit down and they're like, oh, how was your race today? The race was lovely.
Oh, it was
Oh,
a stroll in the park.
I didn't realize that so-and-so spun out at 10:14.
Could you smell the tulips in 7?
Oh, my Greg Poupon is ready. Like, it's ridiculous.
It is
It's too chummy.
too lovey-dovey.
Yeah. And I didn't like the rookie sit-down roundtable interview that they did at the start of the season.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, we're all friends. I was like, please be hating each other by the end of the season.
Yeah.
I want this table to happen at the
I
end of the
actually
season.
think they're more capable of it than like Lando and
Good.
George and those guys. I
Because-
feel like they're all two buddies.
Yeah,
to
I
me.
look up, honestly, I look up to Lewis and Fernando Alonso, who sometimes they do those things, but in general, they don't. And like, I think you've mentioned it before, they come from an era in Formula One where your teammate was your mortal enemy.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not talking to that guy. Like,
No.
I am beating that guy.
Yeah.
And I need to play mind games with him now. Like, and he's going to know that I'm going to beat him and that I'm always better than him. So why would I ever be friends with him? Like,
That's what I'm saying about Oscar Piastri. This
Yeah.
is the reason why he has my vote as world champion.
Yeah.
Is because I'm like, look, Lando's too buddy with Max. He's too buddy with Charles. He's too buddy with everybody, George. And it's like, we're all pals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's like, no, you're not.
yeah.
Oscar's over here in his own little world.
Uh-huh.
And because of that, he's a silent killer.
Yeah. Oscar is okay and willing to exploit weaknesses.
Yeah.
Just like Fernando, knowing that Michael Schumacher's not going to make the turn because he has 2 kids.
Yeah, he's gonna break.
Fernando knew that.
Yeah.
And he's going to exploit that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Freaking cunning wolf that smells blood. You go
Yeah,
for it, right?
yeah.
So, anyways, all right.
Okay.
You ready for my next one?
Yeah, for sure.
I miss non-ground effect race cars. So the current aero regulations depend heavily on the underside of the race car for their aero downforce.
There's lots of wrinkles and lines under the car diverting air.
Previously, for a very, very, very long time, the bottom of the race car was
Seriously, just flat.
flat.
And now it has all these weird little like notches
Fins
and dimples
and all sorts of
It has
things.
like places to connect things.
Yeah. That's a Lego.
Is this not to scale?
That's a
Is
Lego.
this not really accurate arrow?
But this is legit accurate. This
Serious?
is how it was. It was just a flat plate.
Why do
Because
you miss
ground
that?
effect aero was illegalized.
Okay.
And then for decades, they ran flat bottom race cars.
Okay.
But the reason that I think that, look, the reason they went ground effect again was to try to clean up the airflow for closer racing, which I'm still all for.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that I hate is that when these drivers have an off and they go through the gravel, the car's screwed. It's like they're so fragile because all the little fins underneath the car are so important to how the car handles.
Yeah.
That if you go through the gravel and you break one of those, which everybody does,
Yeah.
your race is hosed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, come
Okay.
on. The lack of durability of the race car is a huge setback from previous regulations. So that's my hot take on ground effect. Hasn't been my favorite so far.
Really?
I think the racing's closer, and that's a huge benefit, but I hate how fragile the cars are.
I guess I haven't noticed how many times has like hitting the underside of your car damaged and like ruined a driver's race. Is it happening
Yeah,
often?
it happens in qualifying where they're like,
guess
oh
I
man,
don't
I messed up the
notice.
floor. Like, will you guys check it? And then they got to take the floor off and put another one on. And it's
Oh,
a nightmare.
okay. I guess I just haven't noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Okay.
So-
I can get behind that.
Yeah.
It's a good one. It's a good hot take.
Thank you.
Because like I think a lot of people like the ground effects. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we don't want to go back in time.
No.
Okay. Here's one.
Okay. You ready? I'm ready.
Okay.
Am I ready? I'm ready.
F1 teams should not be allowed to sell power units to other F1 teams.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm here for that.
I think all manufacturers should just be fighting against each other.
You should be forced to run your own
and
power
if you're
unit.
Haas, then you can go to someone outside the sport, like a Porsche or an Audi, but they can't be inside the sport.
Yeah.
Or you develop your own engine.
Yeah.
I think it'd be way cooler to have actual brand car companies, manufacturers fighting each other.
Yeah.
at
I
Formula
mean,
One.
they also have Toyota on the car now. So it's like Haas could just go to Toyota and
Haas
have
could
an
get
engine belt.
Toyota, and then no one else can have Toyota.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I love
That would be
because then it feels like, oh, they don't have a dog in that
Mm-hmm.
fight when they're fighting with the manufacturer. Like Mercedes are bummed right now
Uh-huh.
because their car's fast, but a customer car is faster.
Yeah.
It's like, what? How's that possible?
Yeah.
So it's like, I dig that. If
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
McLaren had to go somewhere else, where would they go? And then it doesn't have that weird stigma of being like Mercedes and being PO'd that
Yeah.
your customer team's kicking your butt.
Yeah. And I think I have a trend. All of my things are just like, how do I get teams more angry at each other? How do I increase the tension and the competition between these people?
It's Colonel Mustard in the steady with a candlestick.
Yeah, there's just like a lot of pride.
Yeah,
if you're
yeah.
Ferrari and you have the only Ferrari engine, like there is a lot of pride there.
Yeah, it's a lot
especially
of
if your car's
bespoke
good.
team. Yeah.
it's like no one can touch us, and no one can and ever will because we're the only ones with the Ferrari engine.
Yeah,
I kind of think that'd be rad.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. That's a good one.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Do you have another
Cut
one?
the wings off.
Oh,
So I'm going another direction with car development issues.
so no ground arrow and no wings.
just no wings.
You don't want any arrow, no control,
Just
no
go-
downforce.
No.
Just like what would it look like? The 1950s F1 cars?
Yeah.
Just
I want to go back.
just a cylinder.
Like, here's the thing. We've developed cars to
I
be
don't know if
so...
I agree with this one.
Come on, check it out. Okay, listen. Because, like, when... Like Jackie Stewart and why am I forgetting his name?
Dale Earnhardt,
Yes.
Dennis Rodman.
Yes.
Okay, when
All
they
of
were
them.
racing, Jack Stewart, Juan Pablo Fant.
Well, yeah, like Fangio, but I'm thinking of
Fangio.
like those early Lotus cars that are kind of like green and the yellow nose and everything. And it's like, anyways, like Jochen Rindt and Jackie Stewart and these guys, they raced with cars that didn't have wings before that was even an idea.
Yeah,
And we've advanced safety technology so much now that it's like, yeah, all the appendages to the car play a role in the side impact and the front impact and all of that to be able to absorb some energy. So we'd have to retain some of that. But the thing is when you watch MotoGP and you watch one of those riders lose it going 150 miles an hour through a corner,
Yeah.
save it and keep riding, it's like the amount of talent that requires to deliver that performance is so unknown to an F1 driver in the sense of being like, yes, reaction time in an F1 driving world is next. It's hard to compare to anything else. But when you think about the actual ability to drive and steering corrections and constantly being on the edge of control without all of the assistance of power steering and wings and everything like that, man, it would make the sport a driver's sport.
very pure drive skill.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And where like MotoGP is just unbelievable to watch. Those dudes are freaks. They are unbelievably skilled.
Gosh, yeah.
And so if you put a bunch of F1 drivers in cars that literally had like so much less assistance, I'm here for it. I think that would be so fun to watch.
Okay.
Make them fast,
Yeah, make them fast.
but just way less downforce.
Okay, cool.
Skinnier tires, make them slide.
Okay.
Let's just freaking go wild. I think it'd
Okay.
be so fun.
Okay, cool. I mean, that kind of leads into my last hot take. And it sounds like we're going to the same direction. The F1 car Halo might be a step in the wrong direction.
Of course, this is gonna come down.
I know it's saved lives, but do we want to always save lives in Formula One? I'll pose that question.
Which life are you trying not to save, Maxwell?
Did we want Lewis to really survive Monza? No, we did. But, you know, people have said when they started wearing a helmet while skateboarding, that's when they started falling more. You know, take off some of the safety things. You are a bit more conscious, subconsciously. You are a bit more safe.
Right.
But also would be good to have a bit more of danger back in the sport. Sometimes I think I would drive a Formula One car and I would be fine.
Right.
I feel like I could not die in a Formula One car right now.
It's
They're so safe.
the probability is low.
It's very low.
Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe we need to lower that, raise that probability. And if we've taken the ground effects off, if we've taken the wings off, and then we take the halo off, that'd be a crazy sport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would be.
I mean, would people watch?
Basically, Max and I just need to pay for an F1 subscription and just watch the 1960s era.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
seems like what it can be.
But would more people watch if there was more of a threat of death or injury?
Hot take: Max can't drive an F1 car.
I can't, but I would survive it.
Yeah.
Who said that? Come on.
It wasn't McKay.
Oh, it was someone else.
Parker says Max as Haas brand development director. That's a hot take.
Yeah.
Dennis Rodman. There's a lot of comments, guys.
Okay.
Oh, hey, Kev. Hi, Kevin.
Hey, Kevin.
He just said hi. So, okay. All right. So do I need to move on to my next?
Yeah.
Where are we at?
Tell us in the chat which safety gear you would get rid of first on a Formula One car. And if the answer is all of it, then heck yeah.
My next hot take
Yeah.
was Toto ain't choosing George over Max.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone Toto's been out in the press being like, no, we're committed to our current driver lineup.
Oh my
There's
gosh.
no way we're reaching for Max Verstappen. Shut
up. Go watch that Drive to Survive episode and tell me Toto loves George.
Yeah.
It was like a struggle.
It's just,
Yeah. Yeah.
don't make me
For real.
sign him.
For real.
Don't make me sign
The
him.
only hope and brightness in Toto's life right now is Kimi Antonelli.
I love how much of a lie that episode is, by the way. It is the greatest lie in Drive
They're
to
like-
Survive season 7.
The producers were like, hey, Toto, we really need to have a scene where you tell George he's the number one driver.
He's the one.
That the fans need to see this. I know you're not into it, but we need to we can do it just in the trailer real quick. You can pull him aside and be like, hey, that drive you did was really good. Will you please be our number one? And that's about the effort that Toto put into
but
it.
they didn't even address the fact that he was disqualified. They didn't even address it. They were
Toto just didn't.
they're
want
like,
it.
oh, epic drive from
Epic
you,
drive,
George.
Epic drive.
Epic drive.
Yeah.
And it's like he didn't run over marbles and he was disqualified because
Yeah.
he's a weak boy.
Yeah.
Because he's not Lewis.
Yeah, I fully agree with your hot take.
Yeah.
George is not Max, and Max already has that seat.
Yeah.
If he wants it.
Yeah.
And Toto's going to do all he can to get Max in that seat.
Yeah. George is
Where's George going to go? Spend some
Williams.
time. Spend some time at the golf club. At the polo club playing
Yes,
polo.
he's got some time to work on his paddle.
He's got to do some dressage. He's going to go ride the horses.
Yes, he's got a few more sweaters to pick up.
Have some high tea.
I don't know what he's gonna all this Adidas swag. It's like he's not gonna show up in a tracksuit.
Man, what if George showed up next year, full Cockney accent, in like an Adidas tracksuit, just ready to pick a fight?
Like black, like what the Ollie G sunglasses. You know, like orange lenses and just big black glasses.
Could we please get Guy Ritchie to fit out George Russell? That is the only thing that can save George Russell at this point.
Possible.
He's like, Guy Ritchie's like, I've written you some curse words. He's like, can you say as much of these in every interview as possible?
Can you ask people if they like dags?
Dags.
Do you like dags?
You like dags?
Oh,
Yeah.
dogs.
Yeah, I like dogs. Yeah. Yeah. Watch some Jason Statham movies, George. All right.
You'll come back a bit stronger.
What if he shaved his head and came back as a cool guy? It's never gonna happen, but
It's never gonna happen.
I might switch. My loyalty is for Guy Ritchie. I would love Guy Ritchie to start
Just
becoming
few
the
tattoos and a wife beater and shaved head, and all of a sudden George is cool. We're like, what the crap?
that'd be
Really
a
came out of
turn.
left
Yeah.
field. We didn't see that coming. Very different approach.
Very different. Yeah. Okay. I mean, that was all my hot.
You got all
takes.
yours?
Yeah.
Okay, then we can be done with mine. I can go for days.
You could go for days.
Yeah.
Okay.
don't
I guess
need
my
mine.
last take is that I would switch George Russell fandom if Guy Ritchie did a makeover on George. Took him to the south of London and let him like live on the streets for a couple days. Yeah. Be great.
Henry says, not so hot take. Mike and Max are the most handsome men on the planet Earth.
Oh, thanks, Henry.
Thank you, Henry, for being here.
Henry, what do you think about George Russell living in the south side of London on the streets for a couple days
If he's
to
from
toughen him up?
Liverpool.
Do you think Toto would keep him back on if if George was a
he
Cockney
ca-
gangster?
If he came
A
back
rude
with brass
boy?
knuckles.
A real rude boy, real tough boy, gangsters.
Hanging out with some of the train stations that Henry
please
drive through. Some of those train stations. Have you been to them? We listen to Oasis. Listen to Oasis at this train station, boy.
Yeah. If Liam was a bit more Kiwi and George was a bit more Cockney, we'd love Formula
We'd
One.
be like, wow, this is...
I'm buying Red Bull and Mercedes merch today. Any response from Henry?
Henry said George would try to befriend a gang and immediately get jumped.
They just keep jumping him in the game.
That's called initiation,
They
Henry.
just keep initiating him every day. I thought we only had to do this once.
Father, you
Father,
didn't tell me that initiation
It's
was
a really,
every day.
it's a really mean gang. Really rude.
I had to go into a 7-Eleven and I had to take things from a child. I can't forgive myself.
I keep paying them membership dues and they keep jumping me in. Father, please talk to them.
I ripped off an entire ATM and they took it from me. What was the point?
What was the point, Father?
You ripped off an ATM? No, I just took a deposit or a withdrawal. And I gave it to them.
I told them it was all that it had.
And it was all the ATM could muster.
It was only 20 grand.
This is 20 grand, but it was, it's part of a paycheck.
No, thank you, Hush Chap.
Yes. So, anyways, Henry, you'll have to tell us more about the train stations that you visit and travel through, so we can get a little better grasp. Because I think our grasp is probably way off.
I mean, I've been to Broccoli in the south of London. Is that bad area?
Was it
Henry?
steamed?
Yeah, steamed broccoli.
Steamed broccoli.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on from hot takes, Mike.
Okay, moving on to the next step.
Yeah, what's the next step?
What is the next step?
So we got Suzuka this week.
Yes.
We've already made our predictions. Given our hot takes. Yeah. I don't know what else there's to talk about.
Henry told us to look up Jaywick. Noted.
John Wick? I've seen John Wick.
Similar spelling. Not quite the same thing.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm ready for the Japanese Grand Prix. I'm here for it. Yuki,
In other news,
good luck.
Yuki launched his own clothing brand this week.
Yeah, I saw that.
I mean,
What'd you
was
think?
he behind the Red Bull change?
Because it dropped like just in time.
Ooh, was he planning this the whole time?
Oh.
I looked at it, not my style.
Yeah.
I'm always very happy about when drivers launch their own brand.
Yeah.
Honestly, because Daniel Ricciardo, love Daniel Ricciardo stuff. We love Enchante.
Yeah, we've got a lot of Enchante.
A lot of
kit.
Enchante stuff.
Yeah.
I like Lewis's stuff. I don't have any of Lewis's plus 44 things, but I really appreciate the collab with like the Japanese artist, like the different artists to make the different merch lines.
The plus 44.
It's a cool concept.
Yeah.
So I was stoked for Yuki's, but wasn't really into it. I hope I see more cool stuff. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
I'm here for all of it, and I'm really anxious to see how this race weekend shakes out. And I love that Haas again are embracing the Toyota element, embracing the IL, cherry blossoms, all that stuff. I'm amped.
Yeah.
Let's get a good result for Haas. Let's get a good result for Yuki. Let's go.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
I'm stoked about it. Okay.
All right. I'm going to go push the end button for people.
So thanks everyone for listening to us and joining us in the chat. But follow us, like us, subscribe to us on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, and leave comments. And we'll catch you next time.